stuff now. When did you first hear about Diddy?
As far as it was suppressed up until that one point, and I already mentioned in the beginning. I'm not going to mention it again, but it came from that dream. But it also came from when he got locked up. Something went off in my mind, and certain things started getting weird for me. Weird energies, spiritual stuff. I started getting visions. I started speaking with other people, psychics. You know, I know people on that side of the table as well, because of the MK Ultra. And like I had one woman the other night, praise her, a wonderful person, say to me, I asked God, before I do any type of interviews with anybody, and God gave me the answer that you were telling the truth. It's a sad truth. It's something I don't want to remember. So there will be times that I can and will disassociate for a few seconds, or I might turn into Shay Shay, which is an author of mine, which is in love with Diddy. It's bizarre. I don't know what that's about, but it messes with me, and it's hard for me to even say that, but that's the truth. But I was a club goer around 17. I started hitting the clubs, CPIs, Bordy Barn in the Hamptons, the Star Room, where I walked out of the Star Room one night and a white SUV pulls up. I didn't know who it was. And I believe it was 4 cigarettes in a pack. I go up to the, out to smoke a cigarette, and I get lured over. Somebody comes up to me and says, there's a party up the street, and, somebody wants to meet you. So, of course, I'm already half hammered. So I end up going over, getting in the vehicle. Next thing you know, I'm handed that little vial and told, yeah, this is good. I take the shot of it. And it was like, I don't remember nothing other than waking up, and I was in a bed with 2 other guys were in that bed, and they were butt naked. And I didn't know where I was at the time. All I knew was when I got in the vehicle, someone said, what did they, I'm trying to get it. I know it's there. It's, they said to Diddy, the sex worker that grabbed me up, which I do not remember her name. I just know she had blonde hair, blue eyes, and down to like she was wearing some really expensive type clothing. And she said to me, yeah, the party, like I said, and I got in the vehicle, and all I remember hearing after I took the shot, we got you a target, Diddy. So it became habit forming. Every summer I would go throughout the whole summer. So from that point on up until 2009, I have missing blocks of time, and it seems like right around the summertime. So that's when that was happening. In the summer, when he'd come out to his nice home in the Hamptons that, yes, does have tunnels underneath it. It does. And if it doesn't, they've been closed. They've been sealed off, closed, and nobody will find them. But they're there. They were there. Can't make this up.
How long did this stuff go on for, Rocco?
This went on till about 2008, where I ended up, I was in a really bad place. I had nowhere to go at the time. And I decided I had a drug habit at the time because, after all that trauma, I just really suppressed it. And then I ended up going to prison right after that.
All right, let's go back to when this was happening then. At the very beginning, did you say that you saw Adria English?
I did. And they would be lifting up her dress and the whole nine. It's true. I seen it with my own eyes. I had that prophetic dream the night before we actually spoke. And I knew it was real because I got this gut feeling inside of me. I got this gut feeling. And next thing you know, after I said it, I said black dress to her. And next thing you know, that pops up. And I'm like, wait a minute, something's interesting here. And it's like bright lights. And, in the dream, I remember it was like bright lighting. And, Diddy would be up there and he'd call out at a certain time, all kids, got to go, but not really. The kids were actually down in the basement getting ready for, the next go around. I'll tell you right now, Governor Cuomo. Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That's why he's quiet. That's why he's being quiet.
What about people like Ali Carter, Jaguar Wright? Did you ever see any of those?
I'm not going to say.
Okay. So how did you manage to get out of this situation? Because it sounds like you were addicted, you were a young person, you were a traumatized person. Sounds like it's going to be very difficult to get out of.
Oh, well, this is I'm 37 now, and it still has an impact on my life. After all this stuff had happened, I questioned my own sexuality for a very long time. I still do. Then dealing with that female altar was just, it's horrible sometimes when that comes out, because the things I say, and it's just, it's bizarre. And I start to speak like a woman and I start to act like a woman. And it's like, it gets so real that, it's like people say there's levels to this spirituality. And, there were a lot of rituals done too. Diddy definitely wanted to be and still wants to be the Antichrist. 100%. 100%. And that's why I believe a lot of MK Ultra victims were also involved in these things.
Did you ever come across Lamisha?
I'm not going to speak on that.
Okay. So you're in this situation, and as a young person, what made you stop going back, or did someone rescue you? How did you get out?
I think it was because back right around 2008, that summer, I got locked up.
And what were you doing the day you got locked up?
I robbed the house, and it was because I was one of those, just like I said, I was living on the streets, and I needed to survive, and it happened, and it was my own family members. But here's the other piece. My grandfather wanted me in a long-term treatment center, but guess what? The state decided that they could pick up charges less than 24 hours. And I was already on, paper probation. So, my life went to hell. It just went to hell. And then, I was in prison from, 2009 till I did 4 years altogether in state prison in New York.
Were you in the county jail at first?
I was in Riverhead County. Yes.
What was that like going in there?
I'll tell you, it was horrible. One day in jail is enough. One day in jail is enough. But it did become somewhat of a comfort zone, which was scary.
Could you explain that?
Once you understand what jail is like, it's kind of like if you know the crime, you know the time or whatever, it's kind of like that. So it's like, okay, I know I'm going to have, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I know I'm going to have a place to shower, and I know I'm going to have a place to sleep. And that's the reality of it. You get comfortable sometimes because everybody's helping you. Oh, he's in jail, so we're going to send him commissary money. We're going to do this. We're going to do that, instead of me trying to work on myself and continuously, suppressing stuff and, not, I didn't want to talk to anybody about it. I just didn't. It was like, kind of like, it was people just, I didn't trust. I didn't trust, and relationships, I couldn't keep relationships.
Did you get clean in jail?
Yes. Yes, I did. Yes. And then
So
I
when
got out and, did the parole as best as I could, and I ended up getting popped for drinking, and I believe that, a lot of the drugs that were given at these parties or these rituals or these whatever, freak off, whatever, it doesn't matter because drugs were given, to incapacitate a person, so they can do and have their way with you. That's just how it goes. And I mean, there were local politicians there of Long Island. I mean, there were carpenters there. There were people there that, everybody thinks, oh, it's just Hollywood star. You don't know what was not taken pictures of that was going on.
All right. So as a traumatized person, then you're self-medicating with substances to deal with that trauma, to try and block that out. You're in the jail, you get clean. Now, when people get clean, the trauma, they can see it, can't they? The trauma's there. How did that feel getting clean? Was it scary?
It was more, I would get the taste of alcohol in my mouth. I would, I would crave it big time. I would crave it. I did manage to get a year clean, without a drink on the streets. But as soon as that year came up, I ended up saying, I'm going to the bar tonight. That's it. I want to party, and I ended up continuously drinking, and it became a habit to where I knew if I didn't quit, and thank goodness that for my two daughters, if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't be here right now.
So at what age did you have your daughters?
My one daughter's 4, and then I have a daughter that's 5, and they actually one of them just went home. I'd say in my 30s.
All right, we've jumped again. Let's just go back to the jail. Did you say you did 4 years?
Yeah, I was in state prison. Yeah.
And how did you
I don't want
change?
to go into the jail thing.
No. I just want to know how you changed as a person over that 4 years.
Well, I mean, I seen people stabbed. I seen people, I seen all kinds of stuff take place in jail, and that it's just, that's what it is. That's what it is, and that's what the environment, what they do in there.
And did that re-traumatize you, or did you come out strengthened because it
I
was
came out strengthened. I had a guy, he was actually, I believe, in Maximum magazines. He got in there for something. I don't remember what it was, but he would have me up every day at 5 a.m. in the morning, working out. So that kept me going. And I mean, he wouldn't stop. He'd have the shake ready for me, and he'd be like, let's go to the yard right now and let's work out. That's just how that was.
and
And
did you
I got out, and unfortunately, in the state of New York, when you go now they have this thing where I don't know if it still exists, but where you have like less than 24 hours and you got to report to a rehab for 28 days, even though I just did all that time without any kind of drugs, but I still got to go through a 28-day program. Then I got to go into their sober house. And then I got to go. It's to me, I feel it's a double jeopardy.
did you read much or do education in the?
No, I chose to hang out with bad people. I ended up in SHU for almost a year.
A year locked down.
Almost, yeah, 23-hour lockdown, 7 days a week. Yep.
Did you have your own cell in there?
Yeah, it was a very small cell, and they would shackle you, your hands before you come out of the cell, and then they make you walk forward, or they shackle your legs. They do everything, and that's how you had to get in the shower too.
How did you stay sane in there?
It was a very, 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 very hard process, but I trained my mind. Just doing, push-ups, sit-ups, no reading for me, mainly sleeping.
And then as you got closer to your release, what were your plans?
Well, I had to go to that rehab for 28 days, and then I had to go to a sober house, and then I couldn't leave the sober house for another 30 days. And that had to be okayed. So there was really nothing, I couldn't work because I had to go to program every single day of the week. It was even Saturdays. It was horrible.
And did they ask you to get a job and stuff?
No, what they do is they make you go to social services. And you sit there all day. It's a sad situation, especially when you have family that have, all that, wealth and money. And unfortunately, I am the black sheep. So.
Did they support you or did they just drop you?
Well, they don't support me. They don't support my mother. They just don't. They don't like us at all.
All right, so you get out then, you're in these programs, and did you say you fell back on alcohol as self-medication?
Yes.
How long did that last?
Oh, I was doing it the whole time on parole.